Hello, I'm here with Ann Loper. So Ann, could you start off, just tell us a little bit about you and your history with BFC and how long you've attended, and then we'll ask a few questions about evangelism. Does that work?
Sure. I've been attending BFC since 1972,
Okay.
and I've not ever sat on the sidelines. At first I was in choir.
Okay.
Then after I got married, we got involved in the Sunday school class that we attend. There I am the secretary treasurer.
Yeah.
And I still do choir, and then in 2000 I was elected, and I've been a part of the missionary chapter involved there, and then in the year 2000 I was elected NMI president.
Okay. Awesome. So the class I'm a part of, it's about evangelism. That's the main focus.
Right.
So my first question is, how at BFC have you seen the mandate of the Great Commission of going and making disciples? How have you seen that lived out?
It's lived out because we are constantly challenged to be involved, to minister, to I'm going to say to minister. They're telling us not to just sit in the pew, but to be involved in church, to get out in the community, to serve, find a place to volunteer, to do. We encourage people also to get involved in missions.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's how I see the Great Commission. And the thing that, well, at least for my life, I had to realize that the Great Commission is for everybody. It's for me.
Yeah. It's
not just for somebody who has a specific call to minister.
Mm-hmm.
It's for every Christian.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. So, thinking about missions and how you're the NMI president here, how would you say missions at BFC plays a role in evangelism?
It plays a big role.
Yeah, definitely.
Because evangelism, is making disciples, and there's all sorts of types of missions. There's home missions or local, what I would call local missions.
Yeah.
So that would be your Judea. And then you definitely want to do something here, and then just find a place to serve, support. You can't necessarily go, but you can definitely support missions. You can pray, you can give, to live out the commission, the Great Commission. I mean, to me, living it out means more than just walking to do something.
Yeah, definitely.
It means I can pray, I can give.
Yeah.
I can share that way.
Yeah, that's great. So, thinking about evangelism, how would you say successes and failures are measured?
For a long time, in my own life, I would look at success being if I won somebody to the Lord.
Yeah.
But I've had to back off of that, because many times you don't see the fruits of what you do.
Yeah.
So you're planting seeds.
Yeah, definitely.
And so that's why I think evangelism has to encompass the whole area, and you can't really, I mean, if you're trying, even if you're planting seeds, you're doing evangelism. Don't live under the guilt trip because I haven't brought anybody to God.
Yeah.
I haven't prayed the prayer with that person.
Yeah.
That I'm not effective. Because I think if you earnestly try and you're responding, you're open to what God puts in front of you to do, the doors that are available through your church or something, then I think you're doing what you can do.
Yeah.
Even in the store, giving a smile or something could be evangelism.
Yeah. You never know.
No, you never know.
So, thinking of the barriers and obstacles. What are, for BFC, what are some of the obstacles and barriers that hinder or make evangelism harder?
We hear success stories.
Yeah.
And so you want to compare yourself.
Yeah.
If I could just get involved, if I could, well, you know, I'm going to say maybe like somebody like Mark Petridis, who always has a success story, or even you have success stories because of your ministry. I don't necessarily have those, but we have to do everything we can. That's a barrier, is to, like, we just kind of in that failure aspect too. Of course, barriers, let me see. In some cases, you really might need to look farther for a place to evangelize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that would be a barrier, maybe, because you don't know. Like, it's easy to live in your Christian world, to surround yourself with Christian friends, because you're going to work hard. If you're plugged in at BFC, you're going to work hard with the Sunday school class or something like that. And so it's easy to surround yourself with Christians. So a barrier would be you've got to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, that's true. The comfort can keep us in.
And sad to say, you know, my world's mainly Christian because I work here as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big time barrier.
It's a big time barrier. So I just have to go, for myself, I just have to think, okay, when I'm out in the world, I have to be positive, do everything I can, and maybe look. And I don't know if I found anything, but the other thing is I constantly pray and ask God to bring people to me, or to open my eyes, and so He knows what I can do.
Yeah, that's good. That's a real good one. So, now thinking about BFC, what are some of the major influences or factors that play into this, the idea of evangelism? They could be theological, social, within the context of what our community's like. What are some influences, and how have you seen some of those change in all your years with attending BFC?
I think there's a greater emphasis to evangelism. I think there's a greater, and this is evangelism, I'm assuming it's evangelism like we just talked about, the Great Commission.
Yeah, yes.
It's not well, it is a soul winning thing, but in a kind of a different light. That's how I'm interpreting it.
Yeah.
When I started attending BFC, I think we were kind of or maybe pretty much happy in our own world.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's the impression I kind of remember. We were happy in our own world. And now there's definitely a challenge. I mean, Pastor Rick issued it Sunday again. How come he didn't say how come, but are you comfortable with the empty seats in our church?
Mm-hmm.
We're back to 2 services. Are you comfortable with that? Wouldn't you like to see them all filled? Well, how are we going to fill them if it's not through evangelism?
Yeah.
Bringing somebody in the front door then would be an evangelism.
Yeah.
So I think we have there's more emphasis or more of a challenge or reminder. Get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
We want to see the seats filled. Don't be happy with status quo in our church.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking.
Definitely, that's good. And I mean, that's about all that I have. So thank you. That was real good, and I appreciate you helping out with that.
Well, I hope it helps your class.
I'm sure it definitely. I will. Let me turn this off real quickly.